Hey guys, welcome back to Throwing Wrenches Garage. This episode is kind of a crazy one. We worked for 2 days. I think it's the first time since we've done this that we worked this much in one stroke on the car. Yeah. But it's also a little bit crazy. So apologies. This one's kind of all over the place. We were all over the place doing all sorts of stuff on the car. You'll see. We got a lot done. We got a lot of progress working towards it. All of this sort of culminating and gearing up towards us getting this thing ready to drive. So you'll see a lot of me working on the engine and even more of Declan working on the interior of the car. So enjoy. It's coming up next. Declan, what are you working on today?
The radio, hopefully.
The radio. Stereo install. I don't think that's going to help making the car run, but
no.
You know what? You're 16. I get it. These are important things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go to. Just read instructions.
Yeah. They can't. Two different things. This is the quick start guide. This is the installation. So, see how to get that in.
Yeah, we had the installation kit, too. There were pieces that came with that, remember?
What?
Yeah, there's, let me see if I can find it in the other room, but okay. Yes, there's more.
Oh, great.
So, while Declan is off doing his thing on the interior, I'm going to change the water pump. Because why not? That seems like a good thing to do before we crowd it up with the radiator and stuff. It's good to get it out of the way. The area is pretty open right now, so we'll do that. Oh, if I'm smart, I'll take this spout off while I'm at it. All right, this one's actually pretty classic. Really, O'Reilly's? I get that you're going to sell return stuff. Do better. It's literally a used gasket. It's got sealant on it. This one's all torn up too. Give me a break. Fortunately, I've got a bag of random gaskets. So we should be able to make this work. Grab the old nylon tape off this fitting. I probably should have cleaned this off last time. It's pretty gross. All right, and I don't do Teflon tape on these because Teflon tape is for plumbing, like in your house. So we're just going to do some thread sealant on here and run this home. Now that I've smartened up and realized that what Declan really wants to do is the interior work on the car, and I've just sort of let him take off on that, things have become a little bit more hectic, but things are also moving a lot faster. So while I set off on some of the mechanical work to try to get the car running, Declan started to work on the interior. So we set the carpet that we got from Hawk Motorsports out on the driveway to relax in the sunshine. And now he was taking the initiative to go ahead and lay that rear carpet into the back of the car. So this is something that takes a lot of finicky work. You got to lay the thing out, make sure that it's laying in smooth, make sure that it's getting in all of the areas smoothly, getting underneath all of the trim panels. It's kind of finicky work. And although he needed a hand here and there to get this thing in, more or less, he did this one all on his own. And he's really motivated to do it. So that's always a nice thing. You really want to see people, especially your kids, motivated to be able to do this work. And I'll take that a million times over him figuring out how to tear down an engine on his own. I just want to see him really interested in working on this car and having an investment in it. And right now, we finally got it. And quite frankly, I'm kind of ashamed of myself that it took me this long to figure out how to get him really motivated to work on this car. We could have been doing this ages ago. I'm a big dummy.
Progress is being made. So while Declan is zipping around in the back, and I'll show you what he's done in a minute, we've got some more of the front dress on. So the alternator's on, water pump is changed out, water pump pulley is on, although I gotta tighten the bolts, but we'll get there in a second. We do need a new throttle cable. Turns out that the throttle cable that we have for this, which was for the TPI, is way too long. We gotta shorten that up significantly, so I'm gonna have to look into ordering a new one of those. But in the meantime, I am gonna go and get some of the wires that I do have ready connected to what they get connected to. So that makes it a little bit shorter work. Now let me show you what Declan is working on. So Declan's been busy. He installed the rear carpet, although it still needs to be vacuumed out. That dust and stuff is just from the insulation on the underside of the carpet, which it was rolled up on itself. So it came out of the box that way. We sat this out in the driveway for, I don't know, a couple of hours in the sun to get it to relax, and that did the trick. It went in pretty smooth. So we'll still probably steam it out just to make sure we smooth out as many wrinkles as we can. But for now, it's sitting there pretty darn good. He was getting some good headway on the radio. And then we found out that we are missing our switches. We have a trunk switch, but we're missing our power window switches. And I don't blame him for this. Declan doesn't want to go and get the whole center console reattached again for the radio, because it sort of has to be in there for the radio install, only to have to remove it again to put those switches in. So we're going to hold off on that until we can reorder some, or until we can dig them up wherever they went. But he's now getting in there with the speakers. Let's see if we can get a look at those here. Yeah. Got those Pioneer speakers in there. He's got the driver's side installed, getting that ready. And we're moving pretty good.
It's done.
Headliner still needs to go in, and steering wheel, right?
Yeah.
What do you want to do next?
Dash pad.
Dash pad. All right, let's take a look at that. So now we're tackling the dash pad. We're not real good at how-tos.
Yeah.
I haven't done this before,
Like
so
how don'ts.
this isn't really a how-to. This is more like it might be a how not to do. We'll see. But I did want to show us putting this thing on, because I haven't seen anybody put one of these things on before. When I looked at them online, it wasn't real clear exactly what I was buying. So I thought it might be helpful for you guys if you've got a third-gen IROC or third-gen Camaro, and you have this problem. This dash is
Destroyed.
Yeah, it's wrecked. It's really, really sun-dried, and then it's all kinds of cracked. And it's cracked sort of well beyond the opportunity for us to save it at all. If you are going to buy this new, you can buy them from the Classic Industries and a bunch of those places. But I think they were close to $800 if I remember right. They were at least $500. They were huge, huge money. And I just didn't want to spend that at this time on this car. So what we did was we got a dash cover.
And so let me show you what that is. That is this guy. So all this is really is a piece of, I think it's ABS plastic that has been, it looks like it's just been vacuum formed, thermoformed, but it's got a little hook, a little loop here, which is going to be your front edge of your dash, the part that's going to be facing you inside the car. So it looks like it's completely wrapped around. And we're just going to glue this in place, basically. What you're giving up is the speaker grill details, the slots that are in the speaker grill details and the real dash pad. It's just a perf pattern here. So that is a little bit of a miss. And obviously this is going to be a touch shinier under most conditions, but I don't know, doesn't bother me. Does it bother you?
No.
Yeah, okay. So, what's our first step, Declan? What do we got to do? You read through these, but...
Okay, well, we have to clean this first.
So to clean this with, and it said like an ammonia-based cleaner, right?
Yeah.
Windex retrieved. Cool, I'll get some towels. Spray liberally. Cover the whole darn thing. So because this is going to have the silicone adhering this dash pad to the plastic, they want to just make sure it's super clean. You can't use an acetone because it's plastic based. So you got to be kind of careful about what you use. So they suggest an ammonia based glass cleaner. They specifically called out Windex, right?
Yeah, they said example Windex.
Yeah. Your turn for that half.
Use utility knife is next. Then it's sandpaper.
All right, so next step, all these cracks where this is making it peel upward, we gotta cut out. So it's a little bit like cutting into the cracks in drywall to make sure that they don't open up. I think you want to just scrape down it, Declan, because it doesn't want to come off easy. You know what? We might have to use a Dremel for the cutoff wheel. Let's try that.
Smells good. No, it does not. It smells horrible.
I think we have to like wash this again now.
It did say use the knife first.
Yeah. Oh, it said use the knife first?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it says contents, and it says the Windex thing first.
Gotcha. Okay, so
here we are. Now the instructions for this, and by the way, this dash cover comes from a company called Coverlay. We got it from Classic Industries. We'll put a link for it in the description of the video in case you guys are curious. I don't remember how much we paid for it. It was significantly less than a brand new dashboard, but it was still more than I should have paid for what is just a vacuum formed piece of plastic, but whatever. So what we did was we came in with the Dremel tool and just carved out any of these cracks. And that was because these cracks had peeled up. So that was going to prevent the Coverlay from landing smooth on the dash surface. Thank you. So 135 for the Coverlay cover. So this is, like I said, similar to what you would do if you're fixing a crack in drywall. You cut the crack open further so that you can repair it. That's kind of like what we did here. We just carved these cracks open further to get rid of the peeled up piece. Now what Coverlay says in their instructions is we should be sanding down any rough areas. But we really don't have any rough areas of this dash. It's all in pretty good shape, except for those cracks. And we used a Dremel instead of a knife because this stuff is so dried and hard. I was afraid one of us was going to lose a finger and we were going to be here for about 2 hours. Yeah, so the Dremel seemed to make it go a lot easier. But Declan, what I just read in the instructions is they're apparently assuming that we would do this while it's in the car. So they're expecting we're going to tape it and weight it so it sits flat. So I think what we're going to try to do is we're going to follow the instructions. We're going to glue it down like they say. And then once we get the cover on it, we'll put it in the car.
Okay.
We won't necessarily anchor it. We'll get it in there rested properly. And then we can weight the top of it there. Does that make sense? That way we'll do what they're saying. We'll weight it. But I'm just worried that if we weight it while it's not like on this surface, you're going to get too much flex. Okay. So I think if we're going to get it to adhere correctly, we've got to have it in the car. But I don't want to put the Coverlay on while it's in the car because it's just going to be harder. So now we lay in the silicone and we're going to do it basically.
I don't even know what that is. Like, what is that shape?
I read the instructions. So it's basically this, although that's a different dash because they make these for different cars. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to go in around the edges and around all the openings around those edges. But it specifically says don't get it in the middle.
Really? Okay.
Is that open or does it have to get cut open? Cut.
Cut. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
It's going to be fine. I've never had to heat silicone before, and I've used silicone plenty.
Just around the sides?
Yeah, so you see how the line is going in the picture. It's basically all around the edges. I'll hold this in place. On that side, because you're going to have to tuck it against the dash. So let's tuck this edge first. You over there too. Get that tucked. Yep. Index. Make sure none of that silicone. Okay. Look, gift wrapped bricks. Yeah, that's what we have to deal with for now. So that's the dash in, the dash cover in. And then we decided to just put the dash into the car to make sure that it was supported properly so that we could then weight the top of it to make sure that that silicone is all going to bind. So right now, I gotta say I'm pretty happy with it. What about you, Declan? Yeah, looks good. All right, and you know, a little later we'll show you what it looks like without the bricks.
So that's a wrap for day one of the weekend.
Yeah.
This is a rare weekend where I think we're going to try to dedicate both days. Technically today was like a half day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we spent about half a day working on the car. I spent,
But we came out at like 12 or 1.
yeah, so 12
So you
to,
wanted us to go to like from the morning?
yeah, I want to spend the whole day because I think we need to. So we managed to get some mechanical stuff in, managed to get the alternator and the water pump in. I have a new compressor. I didn't tell you that. I bought a new AC compressor. The goal is going to be to try to get your AC working. I don't know if it's going to, but we're going to try.
I hope so.
But part of the reason why I want to put that AC compressor in is that it's one of the pulleys, one of the main pulleys in that system, and I just don't want to go through a crazy rerouting system, and I would like this compressor to work anyway. So I got a new one of those to install and put in. But my goal tomorrow is actually going to be to get the battery in place. So that means getting enough wiring in or reestablished that I can feel good about plugging the battery in to see if anything catches fire.
I hope not.
No, I don't think it will. I think we're in good shape. So that's my goal for tomorrow, and then maybe we can actually skirt under it to do some of the stuff under there, because I do have to take the wheels off of this car tomorrow because I have an appointment to bring this to the shop on Thursday so that they can put the new Falcon tires on it that we got. So those are sitting just outside and those need to get mounted. So we're getting close. Wheels and tires will go on. We'll be getting, hopefully, the electrics close-ish to ready for tomorrow. And that'll make us happy. We'll be a lot closer to being able to turn a key and seeing if this thing will rev up. So, all right, we're gonna go get food. Good night, and we'll see you tomorrow, which will actually be like, what, a second?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Me
So,
too.
have fun. Blink cut. Morning. We're back at it again. It's the next day. New shirt. That's how you can tell. So, waiting on Declan. Actually, that's a lie. I'm not waiting on Declan. I'm getting started without him, but he is on his way down. So I thought today what I want to do is start to tackle some of this wiring. I told you guys that what I wanted to do by the end of this weekend was get this thing wired up so I could put the battery in it with any amount of luck, enough so that we can actually turn the motor over and build some oil pressure. That's really like the dream, but we haven't gotten there yet. So I'm going to go through and start wiring up some of the stuff that I know I can wire up. That's pretty easy, and then I'm going to set to putting the spectacles on and going through the wiring book to figure out what I'm going to do about the fuel pump, because that's going to be the hang up. I'll get to that and explain it to you when I get to it. But for now, I know that I can hook up a few things. One of those is the HEI, so the ignition and the tach for the HEI. I can get hooked up. I can get the oil pressure sensor hooked up. I've already run the starter wire. The energizer for the start of it actually tells it to start. That's actually run to where it needs to go, or just draped in place. So we'll worry about hooking that up when we get underneath the car. Yeah, so it's a bunch of connections and stuff like that, but you've seen that before. All right, so I've hooked up the easy stuff. Now I got to do a little bit more looking into this connection for the alternator, which I think is a little bit more clear, a little bit more straightforward. Fuel pump and coolant sensor. So let me go read. One of the challenges that I didn't really anticipate with Declan taking off and doing the interior work while I was doing other things is that he is going to need some coaching. He's not 100% prepared to take on all of these tasks. So every once in a while he says, "Hey Dad, how do I do this?" And that was the case here. While I was eyebrow deep in wiring schematics and trying to figure out other things, he said, "How do I get the steering wheel off?" Well, what ensued was me trying to pull my head out of one task and launch it into another one. And well, there's not a lot of good footage here because since I couldn't keep my head straight, this was like watching a couple of monkeys trying to hump a football. We had to go through a couple of different steering wheel puller options before we finally found one that worked. And then we had to go through a couple of different rounds of getting this horn wire connected before we finally managed to be able to get that correct. But in the end, once I sorted that stuff out, he was able to get the rest of the steering wheel installed pretty much on his own and did a great job. This is a billet steering wheel that we got from Hawk Motorsports. It's actually a little bit bigger than the original steering wheel, and it's all billet instead of being plastic metal. And it's a pretty awesome looking unit. And he managed to get this thing installed pretty much all on his own once we got the wiring done. And it's a pretty awesome look. Pretty proud of him for being able to put this whole thing together on his own and for him taking the initiative to take off on it himself. So let's check it out. Yeah, looking pretty slick.
Put the key in there. It's the square one, right?
Yep. Cool. We're getting pretty tight in here now. Sweet. What's next?
Seatbelts?
Yeah, it seems like a good plan.
Now, you guys have seen us do this before. It's a little trick that I picked up a while ago. If you want to cut through carpet, like we have to do here to make the bolt holes for the seatbelts to go and install, you can just use a knife and cut through the carpet, but you'll end up with frayed edges on the carpet that are just going to keep on opening up. So the other way to do it is to actually burn a hole through the carpet. So the way that I do this, or choose to do this, is I go and grab an old socket. Now this, in this case, is a extra socket that I have, a repeat socket, and I just heat this up with a torch. I use an extension on the end of it so I don't burn my hands off. And then we push it through the carpet. This burns a nice hole that opens us up for the bolt hole that's sitting underneath the carpet, and it sears the edges of the carpet. So it's not going to fray or open up. That hole's not going to get any bigger. And because it melts the carpet fibers right around it, it works out perfectly and leaves a nice, perfect, clean, round hole. So I heated the thing up and then handed it off to Declan, and he burned the hole.
This is absolutely the worst I've ever been at being able to actually film what we're doing because it's like a 6-alarm fire here. We're doing a lot of things at once and we're barely keeping up. But let me take you through what we did so far. So the engine bay may not look any different, but there is wiring. So I have managed to get our wipers, washers hooked up. We got our oil pressure sender in and connected. We got the HEI power, so the ignition of the coil in, as well as the tach. We also managed to find all of our power sources. So they all seem to join up off the starter, which is a little weird, but that's what it looks like they do. I don't remember it from when we tore it apart, but based on the wiring diagram and all of these fusible links joining up together at the starter, that's basically what it looks like it's doing.
And all the ring terminals tell me that that's what's making sense. So those are all dropped down, ready to run in, but we haven't actually connected them yet. I spent a huge part of the day struggling with this guy. So this is my fuel pump relay harness. So not the relay itself, but the harness that plugs into the relay. I kept chasing the wrong thing because what was mapped out in the wiring diagram as the harness, they never show you clearly what this is from a picture standpoint, but they try to show you where the fuel relay is located. And that misled me. It should have misled me to a different relay and had me scratching my head for a good half an hour as I tried to figure out why none of the pin positions and none of the colors were correct. And I kept on looking for relay harnesses that were a different shape. But finally managed to find this. We got this all cleaned up and trussed up, so this was pretty filthy, and the wires were a little worse for wear. So we got them in better shape, and I'm now ready to do something with this. What exactly, I don't know. What I need to figure out now, guys, just so you know, is how I rig this relay up when this is not going to an ECM. What I understand about relays is pretty small. But basically, I know that each one of these wires is sort of designed to trigger different switches on and off within this relay depending upon the condition you're in. And I know that originally with the TPI, there was one of these wires was basically going to tell this thing to just go ahead and crank cold. But then as soon as oil pressure is present, it switches over to the oil pressure sending unit. Again, going back to the ECM, it's something along those lines. It switches from one wire to the next at a certain point in the starting process. I don't know how I'm handling that now. And I also need to locate the receiving harness for the actual pump itself and find that. So I'm on the hunt for that piece, but I'm sure I'll find that at some point. And then I can move forward with this wiring. But getting pretty close to being able to actually plug in the wires for the car and at least maybe be able to get life into this so that we can check window switches and radio and all of that stuff to make sure that stuff is progressing correctly. So that is getting close, hopefully today. Declan is making progress. So we've definitely found Declan's calling with the car. He loves working on the interior stuff, right?
Yeah.
This stuff for him is way more rewarding. He gets to see like real physical changes happening, and except for him asking me for advice every once in a while today, he's pretty much been doing this on his own. So we are stuck for some headliner clips. We're missing those and we need them. So hopefully we can just get those ordered up tonight. Hey, we have to check the dashboard and make sure that went down clean. We have to take the weights off.
Yeah.
And he's managed to get all the seat belts installed, which is cool. And now he's working on getting the back seats in. So this thing is really, really close to looking like a car. Also, check out the cool steering wheel. He got that installed today too. And that was pretty much by his onesies once I helped him figure out how to use the puller. So yeah, things are progressing and going good so far. By the end of the day today, we do have to end this day with this thing up on jack stands and the wheels off of it because I do need to bring those wheels over to the shop. So the last step in a very long 2 days for us was to get this car up in the air, get the wheels off of it, throw them in the back of my pickup. That is because I had an appointment with a local tire shop to be able to put some new tires on these rims so that we can get this thing ready to be rolling. These tires look fine tread-wise, but they are dry rotted beyond relief. So I am not driving on those. So this is the last step in the process for today, and then we're hanging it up. Well, you asked for it, and we do aim to please. So this is the to-do list that we have on the car. A bunch of stuff got crossed off in this video, so let's take a closer look. So you can see the alternators in, the oil sender unit is in, the carb, headers, all that stuff is in. We did find the 6 dash
dash 6 AN converter for the factory fuel lines. Those are in. We replaced the water pump. That's in. So we also found out in this video that we needed headliner clips. So we're missing headliner. We also found out in this video that we need headliner clips. So those were missing. We got those in. So you'll see those in the next video. Same thing with the door sills, in the window switches, and a tensioner pulley. I did find that. So that's actually in now as well. And we also found a replacement for the smog pulley so that we can use the same belt as last time. So that was another piece that we'll talk about in the next video, and we'll catch you up to speed on. Declan managed to get his list knocked down too. He's got the speakers in, he's got the radio in, he's got the dash cover pad in, the gear shifters in, the steering wheels in, his seat belts are in, his rear carpet's in, his rear seats are in. So he's got a whole bunch of pieces done for that interior, and he is rapidly wrapping that thing up. So hopefully some of that is going to be ticked off the list in the next video, and the interior will virtually be ready to go. So I know some people were asking for this list, and well, that's it. So we shot a pretty good outro day of, but yours truly, the genius in charge, did not have the mics plugged in. So it's basically a silent film.
Yeah, that doesn't really work.
It doesn't work great. No. So somebody should have told me that before. Yeah. Well, we did a ton of work that weekend. As we sit here now filming this little thing, I am doing this because I am editing. Because we're going to get this video up. If you're seeing this now on this Friday, you're seeing this just hours after we filmed this. So we actually filmed this video 2 weeks ago. So apologies that we didn't get a video out last week. Last week was my big car show with the Chevelle Club, and that whole week was just completely consumed on my end. It was 100% chaos. I was out of pocket. There was no way I could get a video out. So we took a week off. My bad. Now we are back working on the car. So as we sit here today, it's the 29th. So it's Labor Day weekend. And we got 3 days ahead of us to work on this car. So in the next video, fingers crossed, we're going to get this thing actually fired up. Because Declan has his license appointment on the 13th. And I still really want to get this thing running for him so that when he has his warm license coming home, this car is ready for him. Still don't know if we're going to be able to do it quite that tight, but we're hoping we can. So thank you guys for watching this one. Please tune in next time. Like and subscribe. The likes really, really help the videos, guys. If you click on the likes, it really, really helps us out. So we appreciate you doing that if you can. And tune in next time because we do have the wheels back. The tires are back on the wheels. Declan did a great job of scrubbing them up. We got some center caps coming in for those. And we got a lot of work planned this weekend for doing the final mission to get this thing running and hopefully driving. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for staying with us through this whole ride. And we'll see you next time. Until then, keep on throwing wrenches.